The soft hum of the city buzzed faintly outside as Emma sat in the corner of her favorite cafe. The warm glow of the Edison bulbs above her barely softened the weight pressing on her chest. She clutched her phone in one hand, her thumb hovering over a message she'd reread countless times. "I can't keep doing this, Emma. It's not fair to either of us." Her chest tightened as she scrolled up, reliving months of shared secrets, stolen moments, and emotional confessions. Her affair with Ryan hadn't started with a kiss or even a lingering glance. It began with a conversation, the kind that digs into places left untouched for years. Emma met Ryan during a company retreat 6 months ago. She had been married to Tom for 8 years by then, their relationship steady but unremarkable. They were partners in every sense, co-owners of a house, co-parents to a golden retriever, and co-workers in navigating the mundanity of adult life. Yet, the spark they once shared had long been extinguished, replaced by a quiet companionship that felt more like an obligation than a bond. Ryan, on the other hand, was magnetic. He was confident without being overbearing, his laugh infectious, and his eyes carried a kind of warmth that seemed to see right through her. They started talking casually over dinner, sharing stories about their careers and ambitions. But as the hours ticked by, their conversation shifted to deeper terrain: childhood memories, insecurities, and dreams that had been deferred. By the end of the night, Emma felt something she hadn't in years seen. It wasn't until weeks later that their connection took a turn. They began texting, at first under the guise of professional follow-ups. But soon, those messages became more personal. Ryan would ask how she was feeling, genuinely interested in her well-being, and Emma found herself opening up in ways she never had with Tom. When Ryan texted her one evening, saying, "I wish I could talk to you all night," Emma's heart skipped a beat. Their meetings became more frequent. They would steal moments after work or find excuses to meet for coffee. Each time, the conversations grew more intense, the connection more undeniable. But it wasn't just the thrill of something new, it was the depth of their emotional intimacy. Ryan became her confidant, the person who made her feel alive again. Emma had never thought of herself as someone capable of betrayal. She loved Tom, or at least she thought she did, but the love she shared with him felt worn, like an old sweater, comfortable but devoid of excitement. With Ryan, every interaction felt electric, every word charged with unspoken meaning. "Promise me," she whispered to Ryan during one of their clandestine meetings, her voice trembling with desperation. "Promise me you'll never stop this." Ryan hesitated, his eyes clouded with guilt. "Emma, what are we doing?" "We're saving me," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. But as the weeks turned into months, the weight of their affair began to take its toll. Ryan, who was single, started to struggle with the moral implications of their relationship. "I can't be the reason your marriage falls apart," he told her one night, his voice heavy with regret. "You need to figure out what you want." Emma knew what she wanted: Ryan. But the idea of leaving Tom filled her with dread. She couldn't bear the thought of destroying the life they had built together, of shattering the image of a perfect marriage they presented to the world. Yet, every moment she spent with Tom felt like a lie, a hollow echo of the life she truly desired. The breaking point came when Tom found a message on Emma's phone. She had been careless, leaving her screen unlocked while she went to shower. When she came back, she found him sitting on the bed, her phone in his hand, his face pale. "Who's Ryan?" he asked, his voice cold and steady. Emma's heart plummeted. She tried to explain, to downplay the relationship, but Tom wasn't naive. "You've been lying to me," he said, his voice cracking. "I trusted you." The days that followed were a blur of arguments, tears, and painful revelations. Emma confessed to the emotional affair but insisted it hadn't gone further. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she sobbed. "I just felt so alone." Tom's anger eventually gave way to sadness. "Why didn't you talk to me?" he asked one night, his eyes red-rimmed and weary. Emma didn't have an answer. Maybe she hadn't believed he would listen, or maybe she had been too afraid of what she'd find if she looked too closely at their marriage. Whatever the reason, the damage was done. Emma ended things with Ryan, not because she wanted to, but because she felt she had to. She and Tom began attending counseling, trying to piece together the fragments of their broken relationship. But even as she sat in those sessions, baring her soul and confronting her flaws, a part of her still longed for Ryan. She missed the way he made her feel, the way he saw her. Months passed, and Emma and Tom began to rebuild their life together. The process was slow and painful, filled with setbacks and moments of doubt. But for the first time in years, they were talking, really talking. Emma opened up about her feelings of neglect, and Tom admitted he had taken her for granted. They started to rediscover each other, finding new ways to connect and rekindle their love. Yet, Emma couldn't erase the memory of Ryan. He remained a ghost in her mind, a reminder of the person she had been and the emotions she had felt. She often wondered what would have happened if she had chosen differently, if she had followed her heart instead of her conscience. But she knew those questions had no answers, only echoes of what might have been. In the end, Emma learned that love isn't always about fireworks and passion. Sometimes it's about choosing to stay, to fight for what you have even when it feels easier to walk away. And while her heart still carried the scars of her infidelity, she hoped that, in time, those wounds would heal, leaving behind a stronger, more honest version of herself.